Hello. Well, what can we do to prevent the next shooting massacre like just happened out in Colorado? It's been several days and the news channels are still blaring any small detail they can find about the murder. And yesterday morning they found some video of him regarding a high school science project. Next they'll be putting up pictures of his kindergarten yearbook photo. What about the victims? How about we have more footage and interviews with them and their loved ones, for the ones that were murdered that day? Why is this killer getting days and probably weeks and months of the 15 minutes of fame he was seeking? The media is cashing in on every ounce that they can, and advertisers are jumping up and down for commercial spots in between news segments. The far left is jumping all over, wanting to ban semi-automatic weapons, handguns, and body armor, which is improbable to say the least in the foreseeable future. The far right is blaming it all on taking God out of schools and our government, but failing to mention that the killer was a Christian who went to church as recent as a couple of weeks ago. Everyone out there, well, most everyone, is politicizing this tragedy. Many are saying the killer should be killed right now to show other potential killers so they won't do it as a deterrence, but that solves nothing. You cannot scare a person like this into not killing. You have to take away the hate that built up inside him to enable him to do such a heinous and monstrous crime. It surprises me that we do not have more of this type of murderous mayhem out there more often in our hate-filled society. Look at some of the recent viral videos like the bullied bus attendant. Them children learned hate from their parents or the people growing up around them. They then might grow up to be a killer, just like this worthless human being in Colorado. America already has enough guns in their possessions, and there will not be a law passed that outlaws the existing ones that will make current owners turn them over to authorities anytime soon. If anything at all this talk of banning them is going to encourage more people to go out and buy as many as they can before such legislation is ever written. There are more guns in America than there are people, and the chances are it will stay that way for some time, so we need to look for other areas to address why we have people full of hate wanting to kill as many as they can at random. You can also toss out all the conspiracy theories that are starting to rise up that are ridiculous. The murderer acted alone as far as the authorities know, and this is America, and there's nobody that can keep a secret. If there was another person involved or a group backing the murderer, the investigation will certainly turn that up, so you can just put your imaginations at rest. The NRA supporters are saying that if other patrons in the theater had concealed weapons, someone could have shot him and stopped it. That's possible. It's unlikely, as he had full body armor and he had gassed the theater and only he had a gas mask. Some are already saying he was mentally ill and giving the killer all kinds of different diagnoses. All that's doing is creating more of a stigma for people who are suffering from some kind of mental illness that would never think of harming another person. Most people with mental illness, such as depression and other terrible mental diseases, usually only harm themselves, if anyone at all. While the killer in Colorado certainly has some switches flipped in the wrong direction in his brain housing group, people like him do not seek help. They buy guns and they shoot people. So, how can we prevent things like this from happening? Well, be nice to people. Show everyone that you meet respect. Don't spread rumors that the government is trying to take away our guns and all our rights, which feeds into the delusions that killers like this get stuck on focusing until their brain gets so overloaded with hate that they cannot think rationally any longer. So they start planning an attack like the one in Colorado to prevent something that was not going to take place to begin with. The end of the world is nowhere near here, so there's no need to support claims like that because it's delusional. Sure, there are countries out there that do not have guns like we do, and they have much less crime, but we are not going to be like them, unfortunately, as our appetite and our history of owning firearms is ingrained to us. Our family, myself, never owned a gun until our son Max got cancer and wanted to go hunting. And while I'm not a big, loud proponent for gun rights, as childhood cancer is my cause, I will not be turning over the rifles we bought for our son Max anytime soon. Today, hold the door for someone going into a store. Say hello and smile to a passerby in the street. Wave your hand at the worker on the side of the road and give him a positive and uplifting smile, which will then encourage him or her to do the same. When having a difference of opinion with someone in a debate, please just use words that are not insulting to try to get your point across, no matter what it is that you're trying to say. Treat people the way that you want them to treat you. Treat people nicely, the way that you would treat a child. Your actions, my actions, directly influence every person we run into. The person behind the counter that seems angry or short with you when you're placing your order or paying for your goods might be having the worst nightmare of their life going on with their child having a threatening illness such as cancer, and they are missing their sick child but have to go to work to keep their home and keep their health insurance. Be courteous when driving, and if you cross paths with an aggressive driver that's just wave a smile at them instead of honking your horn and flipping them off. You might just be the reason that they don't go home and take out their frustrations on their spouse or their child. That person that's staring ahead at the light after it turned green, that you're laying on the horn and waving your arms at, they could be thinking about their child who died or dying. Just tap the horn and wave a smile to get them moving. Never know what's on their mind. At the next children's school baseball, soccer, or sporting event, let kids be kids and play, and don't yell at another parent or player and take something that is supposed to be fun and turn it into an ugly sideshow that teaches children to do the same. Show your children nothing but love and encouragement. In the upcoming election, vote for whoever you would like and encourage your friends and family to do the same. But don't fabricate ugliness or tell lies about your opposing party and build more into the hatred that so many have towards each other. We as Americans all have much more in common with one another than we have differences. Tomorrow, go out and help someone in need. If not today, reach out to someone who is suffering. Use your politics and ideas to raise awareness and funds for pediatric cancer to show your party cares. Make a competition with your opponents to see who can raise the most money for pediatric cancer research. The person that did the shooting in Colorado knew what he was doing, and he needs to be tried and convicted and sentenced to the harshest sentence possible, period. He listened to either hate TV or radio, or was consumed with reading hate on the internet until he had so much hate inside he exploded with hate. What made his hate consume him, we might not ever know. But he has devastated dozens of families and hundreds, if not thousands, of victims' relatives. And we need to start changing things in ourselves immediately that may play into this kind of hate. We cannot wait for our government to make effective laws. Killers like this pay no mind to laws. It's time to stop politicizing the death of these 12 Americans as well as the 60 or so that were shot or injured. Certainly nobody should be making any kind of profit in any way from this tragedy. Feel free to add comments below on ways that people can make a positive impact on this world we live in and erode some of the hate that we have all helped build in some way or another. Wave hi, say hi to your neighbor. Have a great day. To the gas station attendant when you're paying for your fuel. It's all about passing on a smile to somebody else that will do the same. We have enough death going on that we need to focus on finding cures for diseases instead of feeding the appetite of hate that killers like this Colorado murderer thrive on. Ignore the hateful comments that will most likely get posted below this video from people full of hate. To respond to hate feeds the hateful and voluntarily gives them more fuel. Laws will not stop murders like this. Timothy McVeigh did not need a gun to turn his hate into a path of death and destruction. Our own individual actions and collaborative efforts as a society can stop this from happening in the future, or at least minimize it. We enjoy freedom of speech in America, but that does not make it right to spread fear-mongering and hate for our government and for the people around us in our communities. If you hear or witness someone spreading hate, tell them it's not right then. It's unacceptable right at that moment. Even if it's someone on your own side of politics, a family member, a friend, a cause that you're fighting for, let them know it's not acceptable. Change starts with each and every one of us, and it is our responsibility to ask hard questions to find out why people are resorting to mass killings without just placing blame on others. This is certainly a very complex problem with many variables, and we need to all look deep within ourselves and each other to find resolutions so that we can stop these senseless killings. Accept no hate from family members, friends, co-workers, or people that you know. Spread no hate to no one. It really is that simple. We have the power as humans, as Americans, on this planet that we're all stuck on to make it a better place. If you have guns in your home, lock them up so that your children or their friends cannot ever get a hold of one and commit a hateful act and killings that will then leave you with some responsibility for. If you have children, hug them and tell them that you love them numerous times every day. There may come a day when you cannot. I know that all too well. When I do something kind, I feel good. Whenever I do something unkind, I don't feel good. It's pretty simple stuff. Do something kind today for someone and start eroding the hate in this world. Together, we can stomp out hate. If you would, take the time to watch a couple of my other videos and get involved in the fight to end cancer in children. Together we can accomplish what our government cannot seem to do. Stop the hate and stop childhood cancer. Thank you.